All right, guys, Wes here. Welcome back to the channel. And with everyone talking about Marvel Spider-Man 2 and how much Insomniac Games is crushing their Marvel video game universe, I'd like to turn our attention to the upcoming project Marvel's Wolverine for PS5. This game was announced on the same day as Spider-Man 2, and yet we haven't gotten anything more than just the initial reveal trailer and a couple of vague statements from Insomniac about how production is going. It makes sense. Spider-Man 2 is obviously their main focus right now, and with how huge that game is turning out to be, I don't blame them at all for staying quiet on Wolverine. But over the last few weeks, a ton of little things have started making their way around the internet, and in this video we're going to go over everything. Also, real quick, guys, I'm giving away a Marvel Spider-Man 2 PlayStation 5 for 130,000 subscribers. If you want a chance to win, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, comment your Twitter handle, and then tweet me proof that you're subscribed, either via a tweet or a DM. And I've got more details as well as bonus entries in the pinned comment. So a few things have leaked about Marvel's Wolverine over the last few months. Obviously, the game is being developed by Insomniac Games, with the creative team that is reportedly being led by the same team that made Spider-Man Miles Morales, which honestly I think is great news because that game's story and writing were top notch. Insomniac has promised an emotional narrative and cutting-edge gameplay from this new project, although they did confirm that it was very early in development. Insomniac also confirmed that this narrative would be a standalone game, and while they didn't confirm the setting or location that the main story would be taking place in, the trailer was set in the Princess Bar, so I guess if you really want to get hyped about every possible detail, you can get hyped about the Princess Bar likely appearing in the game. Some inside sources have claimed that Wolverine is going to be a hard M rating, featuring much more brutal violence and gore, just like Wolverine at his best in the comics as well as the movies. For the longest time, mainstream representations of Wolverine had to be PG-13 or T for teen at their most violent, but the insane success of the R-rated movie Logan, as well as the other more mature comic book projects like Deadpool and Zack Snyder's Justice League, I think Sony will be much more open to the idea of doing a super violent, gritty version of a famous character in a mainstream game like this. When it comes to the story, it's very unclear what Wolverine is going to focus on, but it looks like it won't be an origin story, which I'm totally fine with. Now, if you didn't know, it was recently leaked that a legendary voice actor, Steve Blum, will be reprising his role as Wolverine Logan in the upcoming Marvel's Wolverine project. According to a Reddit post by Zukov74, they believe that Steve Blum might be teasing his involvement in Marvel's Wolverine. In a video on his Instagram that he posted, it showed him in a full motion capture gear where he talked about a video game project that he participated in, which led a lot of people to believe that it was Marvel's Midnight Suns, which is another project that he was in. But this could be our very first teaser that he's going to reprise his role as Wolverine in the upcoming Insomniac game. But that wasn't our only big leak for Marvel's Wolverine. If you haven't been paying attention to the FTC versus Microsoft trial, then this stuff will be completely new information to you. According to some of the leaked documents, Microsoft actually confirmed that they believe that Marvel's Wolverine will be releasing by the end of 2023, which we know by now is not going to be the case, seeing as Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is releasing on October 20th. But the fact that Microsoft truly believed that Marvel's Wolverine was going to release in 2023 tells me that development has been moving along very smoothly. So the release date of 2024 might be plausible. There are also a ton of rumors that Wolverine is going to appear in the upcoming Marvel Spider-Man 2 as a cameo to tease his existence in the universe. Maybe he's going to show up in a side mission or a post-credit cutscene, but just don't expect him to be a playable or even a minor character in the story. But I am absolutely expecting there to be some reference to him in the game. Heck, maybe J. Jonah Jameson will call him out in the Daily Bugle or something like that. But mark my words, Wolverine will be in Spider-Man 2 one way or another, if that's just in the form of a small Easter egg or something more like a end credit scene. But I wouldn't expect to see a solid look at him until his own game, because Insomniac definitely wants to keep him under wraps for as long as possible to generate as much hype as they can. Now, unfortunately, we didn't learn anything new about Marvel's Wolverine at either of the PlayStation showcases earlier this year, but a number of fans are starting to wonder if that's going to change with the rumored August showcase. It's widely believed that PlayStation is going to host another showcase in August of 2023 that will focus on more first-party content, since there is so much going on and we have yet to learn anything about the projects in development. We all want to know what is going down with the biggest PlayStation studios, Santa Monica Studios, Sucker Punch, Bend Studios, and hopefully the Insomniac Games B team focusing on Marvel's Wolverine. With Spider-Man 2 being the big 2023 PlayStation game, I guess it does make sense that Sony doesn't want to overwhelm their player base with first-party content, but now that Spider-Man is almost ready to be released, it could be a good time to start hyping up whatever's next. A lot of PlayStation players aren't expecting much from Spider-Man 2 at the August showcase, since we've already gotten so many trailers this year, meaning that the most we'll get from Spider-Man at the August showcase is maybe a final trailer or brief gameplay demonstration, but that will leave the door wide open for Insomniac to show us what they've been working on for Marvel's Wolverine. Maybe a gameplay trailer, maybe another teaser, possibly a story teaser. I'm expecting something exciting for Logan to be at the August showcase, assuming those leaks are real. reveal. It could be that they push it back to September, because if you remember right, it was September that's Marvel Spider-Man 2 as well as Marvel's Wolverine got revealed first. So history kind of repeating itself with a September showcase would be a nice fit. Now, initially we believe this game was going to be coming out in late 2024, and that does seem to be a realistic time frame. Spider-Man 2 may have been in development for a long time, but it's also a gigantic open world game with tons of large scale gameplay mechanics. Meanwhile, Wolverine is reportedly going to be a much smaller scale game, and obviously won't have things like wingsuits or fast-paced web slinging around New York City. Marvel's Wolverine likely won't need nearly as much time in the oven to get the game to the finish line, and if the announcement was made in late 2021 on the same day as Marvel Spider-Man 2, and Spider-Man 2 is coming out in late 2023, I think it's safe to assume that Marvel's Wolverine will be dropping in late 2024, likely around the holiday season. Now, there's been a ton of leaks and rumors going around about the next generation of PS5 hardware, with many inside sources claiming that the PS5 Pro is going to launch in late 2024. But that raises the question, is Wolverine going to be a PlayStation 5 Pro system seller? Is this going to be the first major Sony exclusive on the PS5 Pro that will feature all of the enhancements and upgrades that they've been touting? It's no secret that the PlayStation 5 as well as the Series X have been struggling to hit next generation performance metrics on a lot of the AAA games since the launch, with a lot of quality modes still running at 30 FPS and a lot of performance modes capping out at 60 FPS, despite the PS5 and Xbox Series X marketing campaigns boasting 120 FPS capabilities. If Wolverine launches around the same time as the PS5 Pro and locks quality mode at 60 FPS and its performance mode at 120, that could be an absolute game changer for console gaming as a whole. Can you imagine a brutal hack and slash type game starring Wolverine, featuring beautiful visuals and crisp performance that you can only get on the PlayStation 5 Pro? I don't know about you guys, but that would be plenty enough to convince me to upgrade to the new hardware, assuming the leaks about the holiday 2024 release date for Wolverine are correct. Like, that would perfectly line up with the leaks about the PS5 Pro launching in late 2024. Basically, if the PS5 Pro and Insomniac's Wolverine have a same holiday 2024 release window, Sony is 1000% going to use that game as a marketing tool and go absolutely ham on showing off the game's performance. Heck, I wouldn't even be surprised if there was a custom Wolverine themed PS5 Pro available on launch day, which I've got to say would be insane. I would 100% be the first person to buy that thing. Now, as hyped as I am for this game, I do want to point out some concerns that I've seen from people on Twitter and YouTube. Obviously, we want the game to be super gory and violent, just like the unrestricted Wolverine of the comics. A lot of you also probably remember the X-Men Origins Wolverine game for the PS3 and 360, which was one of the bloodiest games I've ever played, and it was freaking awesome. Seeing a true M-rated Wolverine would be amazing, especially if the gameplay is given the same care as other Insomniac titles. But I'm definitely a bit worried that Sony might step in to try to tone down the violence for the sake of the Marvel brand. Sony probably expects Wolverine to appeal to a larger audience since he's a famous superhero, and while they may end up being okay with the M rating, they may want to tone down the violence just a bit more so it's not quite as extreme as the X-Men Origins game. Now, for me personally, I think it would be a terrible idea and it would frustrate a lot of potential buyers. Not to mention, it would also be incredibly hypocritical of Sony to fund games like The Last of Us Part 2, but then tone down the violence of Wolverine. But it's not like this would be the first time that they make a violent character a little less bloody. You guys remember how much bloodier the classic God of War games were compared to the rebooted series? I personally do, so hopefully Sony doesn't try to neuter the violence of this game, because an M-rated Wolverine game that doesn't hold back at all would be a truly amazing experience. I've also seen quite a few sentiments saying that this game needs to be open world and that they're disappointed if it won't be an open world game, to which I've just got to say this, like, not every game needs to be open world. Wolverine absolutely would not benefit from an open world setting. I mean, open world games are already so played out that I think a more level-based approach is the better choice for making the game kind of stand out, but also Wolverine is not the kind of character that would thrive in an open world setting. Now, I will say this, if the game is kind of open world, but you have a motorcycle to be able to drive from place to place in between story bits, I would be perfectly fine with this game being a lot larger scale. But I think Wolverine works best when he's going from crazy action scene to crazy action scene with very little downtime. A larger God of War style design philosophy is a great choice for a character like this, because it will give us the downtime we need for character moments and treasure hunting, but it keeps the pace high and makes sure we never go too long without a crazy Wolverine action scene. So again, not everything needs to be open world. So what are your guys' thoughts on Marvel's Wolverine? Are you as hyped as I am for this game, or are you kind of reserving your hype for it once we see some gameplay? And do you think we're gonna get a cameo in Marvel's Spider-Man 2? I personally hope so, and I really hope it releases sometime in 2024, and fingers crossed that we get a reveal sometime this year. But yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap it up with this video. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Guys, do me a favor, enter that PlayStation 5 giveaway. All you have to do to enter is subscribe to the channel, comment your Twitter handle, and then tweet me proof that you're subscribed. All of the details are in the pinned comment, and until next next time, this has been Wes, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.